Yeah, Glenbrook Mall is closed because it's out of power.
More details are finally surfacing about the water main break that flooded close to 30 stores in Fort Wayne's Glenbrook Square Mall.
The Sears store at Glenbrook Square Mall is closing next month. Sears Holding Company says the Glenbrook store is one of 46 stores in the latest round of closures.
Until We Meet Again is a coffin store that was days away from opening in Glenbrook Square Mall.
It's a store that caters to customers who want a unique casket for their loved ones.
Word quickly spread after a reported gunman opened fire in a Glenbrook Square Mall parking lot. It left one person seriously injured and sent mall goers into a panic.
Get ready to shop until you drop. A new store is set to open its doors. Tomorrow morning is the grand opening of the Carson's store at the Glenbrook Square Mall.
Hello everybody. Today I'm actually doing another mall video, but instead of doing the typical dead mall, I'm going to take a break from that today and show a mall that's actually doing really well. And this one's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's actually about just right down the street from where I live. I can actually see this mall from my front porch or my living room window. So I do stop in here quite a bit just to see what's going on, and a lot of times I'll stop in after work just to walk around it. But this mall is actually doing really well, and I just wanted to show this because so many malls, usually you think of a mall, most people think of malls now as being just kind of a thing of the past, but this is the exception. This is one of those malls that has always done really well. It has been through a few rough times over the past 20 years or so, but they've done several huge renovations, like multi-million-dollar renovations, and the mall's really nice. It's actually usually really busy. When I recorded all this, it was actually over the course of 2 days. Part of it was a Thursday afternoon about 5 o'clock. I stopped in there out on my way home from work. And then the other part was actually the next day at my work. We ended up having a power outage, so I was able to go home around noon. So I ended up stopping in there around noon. So it's not terribly busy when I recorded all this, but if you go here like on a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's completely packed, and that's a good thing because this mall is, like I said, it's the exception. Most malls around the country are not doing too well, but this one's has always been really good as far as business. It was built in 1966, and it is currently owned by the Brookfield Properties Retail Group. Now they own a lot of different malls all over the country. This is actually the only one that they own in Indiana, though. As far as the size, it's around 1.2 million square feet, and it is the second largest indoor mall in the state. The only one that's bigger is located down in Indianapolis. But I just wanted to kind of show this because this proves that there are still some malls that are doing really well. And they have lost Sears and Carson's, and that's no surprise. I mean, Carson's, the company went out of business, or went bankrupt, so that was going to happen no matter what. And Sears, we all know, where they're headed. So, but this mall just keeps growing, and they're actually planning some more renovations here soon, and that's actually the new P.F. Chang's that just opened up. And here on the right is one of the biggest Barnes & Nobles that I've ever been to. It's a huge store. It's really nice in there. Coming up here is the original, is where Sears used to be, and also down on this end is TGI Fridays. Now, as far as like the actual restaurants in the mall, at this point, it's the main ones that are part of the mall are TGI Fridays, Red Robin, and P.F. Chang's, and then of course the food court, which you'll see later on. And there's a lot of rumors going around that I've also read online that Dave & Buster's is actually possibly going to be going into one of the floors of the empty Sears store, so that'll be interesting if that happens. I think that'd be really nice if it did. Now this is actually the other side of Sears, and then heading down another wing of the mall towards the food court area. One good thing about this mall is it definitely doesn't have a lot of vacancies. There are a few here and there, but out of all of them that I saw when I was in there this day, all of them actually had people in there working. So it's almost like they are actually going to be filling those vacancies, and there's not really very many of them, just only a few. Now coming up here is really the main area of the mall that most people are always going to be. It's the food court, carousel area, and this is actually the area that has had the most changes over the years. It doesn't look anything like it did when I was a kid. I think it looks really nice now, but it's definitely had some major renovations. The biggest one obviously is this, in which you'll see later, the food court. That entire area used to be a giant ice skating rink. Now coming up here is where Carson's used to be. That store was actually not part of the original mall. It was built on, and it used to be a store called Hudson's originally, and then Marshall Field's, they closed, and then it became Carson's, and now it's nothing. So there's not really been any word as to what might go in there. That part of that mall, for some reason, that is always got issues. I don't know why the stores usually that go in there usually don't stay long. Now I was heading down, like I said, this whole end of the mall is actually vacant. Like this downstairs part, of course that was Carson's there, but what they've done, and they've done a really good job of hiding the fact that those parts are vacant. They put these huge murals up and they look really nice. Now on the left there, that whole area used to be an MC Sports, which I don't know if that's a national company, but it was basically a Dunham Sports. And MC Sports actually, I believe they went bankrupt or something. There were a lot of closings for that company, and Glenbrook just happened to be one of them. But that whole left part there, that actually used to be that sports store, and right now it's just empty. But like I said, they've done a really good job of hiding it because it looks like it is supposed to be that way. Now coming up here, that Penny's entrance, that was not original. When the ice rink was there, that was actually just a wall, and they actually had some restaurants over on this side of the food court. The food court where it is now was actually just reversed, and it was on this side originally. They just moved it all over when they got rid of the ice rink. I'm gonna walk around the ice rink now, or the food court, just to give you an idea of what all is there. It's a really nice food court. You know, most food courts in malls are usually a couple restaurants. They have a lot here, and this part of the video was actually recorded around lunchtime, so a lot of the people here are just eating lunch, obviously. But if you come here on the weekend, I mean, you can barely even find a table. It's so crowded over here. That's okay. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and head upstairs, and I'm going to show you, I did my best to kind of give you an idea of what it used to look like. It's really hard because there's not very many pictures online, but here's an overview of where the ice rink used to be, and I'm going to insert a picture here. So this is where the ice rink was. Now these escalators have always been there. but the entire like area around it's completely different. So if you were to look at this at originally, this is what it would have been like, and it was kind of hard to match it up, but that railway up there used to be all wood. Everything in this mall was wood. It was always like brown, but they had stores over there instead of food areas, and it was all just ice rinks. So they had a railing all around, and it was raised up so that you would walk like up above where the floor is right now. And this picture, this guy here, but see, those are the two escalators that are there now. Those have always been there. So it was so much different than it is now. But I grew up, you know, going to that ice rink, and it was really fun to go there. I actually took my first date to this mall, and when I was 16, and I had a Camaro. That was my first car. So I thought I was, you know, like big stuff, hotshot, going to this mall with my first date in the Camaro. I took my date. At that time, that food court only had a few restaurants. I remember it had an Arby's, a Shoop's Hamburgers, which was kind of like a Steak and Shake, and I don't remember what the other place. I know it had like a Sbarro Pizza and maybe like a Subway or something, but I took my date and we had those hamburgers, and by the time we went out and we went ice skating, and we went out to the car, and here I am, you know, trying to act like I'm so cool with my new Camaro, and I had left the lights on, so we were stranded because the battery was dead. So I looked like an idiot on my first date. But anyway, so here's the fountain. It's a really nice fountain. This is actually one of the big renovations they did. The fountain that used to be there was nothing like the one that's there now. And this AT&T store here, that was actually a video game store that whenever my parents would bring me to the mall, they would go shopping and I would just stay in that store and play the demo machines. And here's the fountain again. It's a really nice fountain. But for some reason they left the poinsettias up from Christmas. And here's LS Ayres. I don't know if... I know LS Ayres was... Or actually it's Macy's now, but originally it was LS Ayres. And I'm going to show a picture here. That area up at the top where they... Like the other set of doors, that actually was a restaurant. And it was called the Tea Room. That was what LS Ayres was kind of known for. And you could actually go up there and eat. And we went up there once when I was a kid, but we didn't eat. I just wanted to go up and look at it. But yeah, that's the Glenbrook Mall, Glenbrook Square Mall. It's actually a really nice mall. It's clean, it's safe. They have tons of security all the time, so, you know, you never feel like you're in a dangerous mall or anything. This mall is like right in the middle of a busy area, which I think is why it's still so successful. A lot of the malls that moved out into the suburbs, those are the ones that are closing, it seems like. But this one, it's still growing, and they're actually talking about a new theater that they might be building at some point on the mall again, because the original one, they got rid of that a long time ago. And this is actually the Sears. It's very retro. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I just wanted to show that some malls are still doing well, and this is one of them. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and I thank everybody for watching.